What's up everyone, welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today we are going to create another web scraping project in Python. Today we'll be creating a program that's going to scrape codes from this website called brainycodes.com. So the way it's going to work is that we are going to give some keyword, for example nature, to our program, and it's going to return some codes related to that keyword, and those codes are going to come from scraping this website. So let me first show you what I have created and what we'll be creating in this video. So if I come to command line, I have a program. Let's run it. So I'll say python codes.py, and it can take some arguments. So the first one is -q, and is the query term or the search term. So let's say we want codes to be about nature, so I'll give it nature, and then if I hit enter, you can see it's giving me some codes related to nature. It's pretty cool. Also, what I can do is I can pass in another argument -r and set its value to yes. Hit enter. You can see now it's giving me one random code, and if I run it again, this time it returns a different code. If I run it again, it's giving me a random code every time I run it. But if I want a bunch of codes at a time, then I'll take out this argument, hit enter, and you can see it's returning all the codes. Yeah, that's what we will be creating in this video. So without any further ado, let's get right into this video. If I come to this website brainycodes.com, you can see I'm searching for this keyword nature, and I'm getting some codes related to search term. So if we examine the URL here, you can see we have the base URL, then we have the search results, then question mark, then x equals to 20 and y equals to 14. I don't know what they are, but here is the fun part, which is the q equals to nature. So if I change it to, let's say, life, you can see I'm getting some codes related to life. Also, you can see we have this pagination down here. If I click on this second page, now one more parameter is added to this URL, which is the page number. So this is how this URL is structured. So if we copy this URL from here, copy it, come down to VS Code. I'm using VS Code. You can use any other text editor that you like. So I'll define a variable URL, and I'm going to paste that URL in here, just like this. And we need to change few things in this URL to make it dynamic. So I'll make it an f string, and right here where it says q equals to life, we are going to add a variable called search term, just like this. And right here where it says page, pg, we are going to set a variable page so that this URL will be created dynamically according to these two variables. Let's define these variables, nature, and let's keep the page equals to 1 for now. So whatever the value of these variables will be, our URL will be created accordingly in our script. So this is it. This is for the URL part. Now we need to see how we can scrape this code and this author name from this website. So before that, let's first import some important libraries. We need the request module, we need the BeautifulSoup, and then down here let's make a request to this URL. So I'll say r equals to requests dot get, pass in the URL, and then we'll create the soup equals to bs, pass in the or dot content, and then we are going to use the html dot parser. Because this website is pretty simple, it's pretty much simple, and we don't need to use any advanced techniques in this in scraping these codes. So it's going to be fairly simple, so I'm keeping it like that. Now let's just simply print the soup and see what we are getting. So if I run the code, let's see what we are getting. You can see we now have the HTML content here, and now we need to find a way to extract these codes and this author name. So if I right click here and select the inspect, and again right click inspect, now you can see this is the div where we have this text. This is the code and it's inside this div, but we can't fetch this div directly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to come one step up, and you can see we have this anchor tag, and this anchor tag has this class b-qt. So I'm going to copy this class name, and I'm going to come down here and I'll say anchor1 equals to soup dot find underscore all, and what I want to find is all the anchor tags. So I'll say a, then I want to pass in the class name. Class is equal to the thing that we just copied, which is b-qt. So if we now print the anchor, run the code, Let me first clear this out, run the code. Now you can see we are getting these anchor tags, and along with those we have these divs, and then we have this code embedded within that div. So we are making some progress here. Now what I will do is I'll try to find this author's name where it is located, so I'll inspect it, and we have pretty much same process here. We have the anchor tag and we have this different class, so let me just copy it. So I'm going to copy this class name here and come down here and define a variable anchor2, and it's going to be equal to soup dot find underscore all, again the anchor tag, then the class name. Now I'll paste in that class name. Now if we come back here and inspect it again, you can see we have a div inside here. Inside this anchor tag we have a div, but when I come to the author, you can see we don't have any div. We simply have the name of the author embedded within this anchor tag. So it's going to be easier to extract this author name than to extract this quote. So let me show you how we can do both. So I'll come here, and right here I'm going to define a for loop. So I'll say for quote comma author in zip anchor 1 comma anchor 2, and what we want to do here is I'll say quote is equal to quote dot find, and I want to find the div, so I'll pass in div, and then I want to get the text, and then I want to strip all the white spaces around that text so that we get a nice clear text without any white spaces. Then in order to get the author, I'll simply say author equals to author dot text, and we also need to strip the text here. So yeah, that's it. Now if I print quote comma author, we should get the quote along with its author. So if I run this code now, let's first clear it out, run the code again. Yeah, you can see now we are getting text only. This is a quote. The words are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and it's written by someone called Robert Frost. So you can see now we are getting the quote as well as its author. So now let's just format this out so that it looks good. So the first thing I'll do here is I want the numbering on every quote. So I'll say if I comma then enclose these two inside parentheses because I want to enumerate this. So I'll say enumerate just like this. So now I will have the numbering stored inside this I variable, and I can come here and define an f string and wrap this code around these curly braces and put a dash here, wrap this author around curly braces, and now come to the beginning of the string, define these two brackets and put the I right here and then semicolon. So now if I run it, we should have a pretty good looking output. So if I run it, you can see now we are seeing some numberings as well. Yeah, we have the numberings along with every quote now, so it's looking nice than before. Now let's add that command line argument utility to this application so that when user runs it through the command line, he can pass some arguments so that we can have more functionality into this script. So I'm going to import the argparse module. So I'll say import argparse, and I'll define a parser up here. So I'll say parser equals to argparse dot argument parser, and I'll add some arguments to this parser. So I'll say parser dot add, first one is -q, and we'll add some description to it. So when user asks for help, they will be displayed what this argument does. So this argument is for search term, so this is for search term, and then I'll copy it, paste it down below and say -r and change the help to if you want one random code, just like this. Then we need to parse all these arguments. So I'll say args equals to parser dot parse args, just like this. Now I'll be able to access this q argument as well as this r argument. Now what I want to do here is I want to add an if statement. I'll say if args dot r. So args dot r is the r argument which we have set for random code. So if user passes this argument, he will get the random code. So I am saying if args dot r is not equal to none. If it's not none, then what we want to do is we will print out a random code for for the user. So I'll say quote equals to list comprehension. Again, create the f string, and I'll say I'll pretty much just copy this thing from here. So I'll just copy this thing from here and paste it down here. But this time I also need to add dot text dot strip dot text dot strip for quote comma author in zip anchor 1 comma anchor 2. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a list of quotes along with their authors. So then I'll randomly pick one quote and print it out for the user. So for that we need the random module. So I'll say from random import choice, and I'll come down here and say choice and pass this list as an argument to this function. And now we should get one random quote from this list, and we need to print that. So I'll say print quote, and I'll also add an else statement. So else, if the r argument is not selected, if it's none, then we want to send or print all the quotes for the user, which we have already seen. So yeah, now we are pretty much done, except we need to set this search term equals to args.queue, because that's going to store the search term that user provides to this program, and we are going to search quotes based on this search term. So now if I give it a go, so I say python main quotes.py dash q equals to nature and dash r yes. So we have some error here on line 7. Okay, yes, we have made a mistake here. It's not add, it's add argument. So change it to add argument and save it. Now come back here and run it. You can see we successfully get one random quote, and if we get rid of this r argument, hit enter, you can see we are getting lots of quotes related to nature. So yeah, this is pretty much it. This is how we create this program. So I hope you learned something new from this video. If you have learned something new from this video, do let me know down in the comment sections. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace out.